A black nurse who had lived her whole life in silence and scarcity stepped onto the private jet of a billionaire by mistake. What seemed like a small error did not lead her into trouble, but into a romantic journey in Miami, where love and unexpected secrets were waiting. Angela Robinson, a woman in her early 30s. 10 years in the hospital, her hands used to needles and wounds, her eyes used to the pain of others. She knew how to keep patients alive, yet never learned how to keep happiness for herself. Her life was wrapped in endless shifts, unpaid bills, and the heavy weight of family responsibility. Ethan Cole, a tech billionaire, a man whose name the world recognized. Money, fame, power, he had them all. But inside his luxurious penthouse there was only emptiness, repetition, and nights filled with silence. Two worlds that should never have crossed suddenly collided on a fateful flight. And from that mistake began a love story no one could have predicted. What will happen when sacrifice meets loneliness and a mistake turns into destiny? Share your guess in the comments, and don't forget to subscribe so you won't miss the next chapter of this extraordinary journey. Angela's shoes echo down the long hallway of the New York hospital. 14 hours into her shift, the fluorescent lights sting her tired eyes. Her white blouse is no longer crisp. It is wrinkled, marked by the weight of endless duties. She moves from room to room, offering a gentle word, a quiet touch, a dose of comfort. Yet inside her body screams for rest. Her back aches. Her legs tremble, but she pushes through. Patients need her. Colleagues rely on her. She cannot stop. Angela Robinson has given years to this place. She has traded her sleep, her meals, even her birthdays, for the sake of others. She tells herself it is noble. But beneath that mask of strength lies a woman who wonders if anyone sees her, if anyone remembers her. For many women watching, it feels familiar. The endless giving, the silence about your own pain, the quiet fear that life is slipping by. Angela is not just a nurse. She is a mirror, a reflection of every woman who has ever carried too much and asked for nothing in return. In room 212, the air is still. A frail man, old and fading, clutches Angela's hand. His skin is thin, almost transparent. His breath shallow. He looks at her not as a nurse but as a daughter, as someone who might understand. His voice is weak, but his words are sharp enough to pierce through the noise of the hospital. "Don't forget to live for yourself." Angela smiles politely, as nurses are trained to do. She whispers back, "Rest now. Don't worry about me." She moves on, charts in her hand, duties pressing in, but his words do not move on. They stay. They echo. Walking down the corridor, Angela feels them replaying in her chest. Don't forget to live. She wonders when the last time was that she lived for herself. She cannot remember. Maybe never. For the rest of that shift, every beep of a machine, every call from a patient, carries that whisper underneath. A seed planted in silence. A warning that her own life is passing faster than she dares to admit. And soon, that seed will grow into a choice she never expected. Her phone vibrates in her pocket. Angela answers quickly, stepping into a quiet corner. It is her mother. The voice is soft, trembling. "Angela, I need more medicine. The last prescription is finished." Angela presses her forehead against the wall. "I'll figure it out, Mom. Don't worry." A second call comes in. Her younger sister. The words are rushed, heavy with shame. "I missed my tuition payment. They might suspend me." Two voices, two needs, both looking to Angela. She ends the calls with promises she cannot afford. In her wallet, there is barely enough for groceries. In her account, only a shadow of what is needed. The weight crushes her chest. The hospital may be her workplace, but home is where the real bills pile up. She carries everyone's burden. Medicine, tuition, rent. Always the provider, never the one provided for. This is the pain so many women know too well. The silent debt of love. The expectation that you will stretch yourself thinner and thinner until nothing is left. Angela feels it now, like a rope tightening, pulling her toward a breaking point she cannot yet see. The next morning, in her small apartment, Angela checks the mailbox. Among the bills and advertisements lies an envelope she does not recognize. Thick paper, embossed with gold lettering. She opens it slowly. A letter. Formal, polished. An invitation to a medical wellness conference in Miami. Expenses covered. Travel arranged. Her name written in elegant script as if she had been chosen. Angela stares at it in disbelief. She has never been chosen. Not for awards, not for recognition, not for anything beyond another shift on the schedule. Her heart races. Could this be real? A chance to leave New York, even for a few days? To step away from exhaustion, from the constant pull of family and work? She places the letter on the table. Doubt creeps in. Maybe it is a mistake. Maybe it is junk. But something inside her whispers that it matters, that it could change something. The envelope sits there, glowing against the dull gray of her life. A seed of mystery, waiting to grow. She does not know it yet, but opening that letter is the first step toward a story she never imagined living. High above Manhattan, Ethan Cole sits alone in his penthouse. Floor-to-ceiling windows reveal the city lights, glowing like a treasure chest spilled open. Money, power, influence, all of it at his fingertips. Yet none of it fills the silence around him. The rooms are immaculate, every detail polished. But there are no voices, no laughter, no warmth. Only the hum of the city below. On the glass table rests a single photograph. Ethan picks it up. It shows his family, his late father, his sister who passed too soon, faces smiling in a moment long gone. He traces the frame with his finger, and for the first time all day, his shoulders drop. People call him unstoppable, brilliant, even ruthless. But behind those titles is a man who ends most nights the same way, alone, staring at a memory that cannot return. The world believes Ethan Cole has everything, but he knows what is missing, a connection that money cannot buy, a reason to believe life holds more than contracts and numbers. And though he does not know it yet, fate is already arranging an answer, waiting at an airport gate far from this silent glass tower. The phone buzzes on the counter. Ethan answers, his tone firm but tired. On the other end is his mother's gentle voice. "Ethan, are you eating well? Are you sleeping?" she asks. He exhales, glancing at the untouched meal beside him. "I'm fine, Mom. Busy, as always." There is a pause. Then she says softly, "You have everything, my son, but do you have happiness?" The words land heavier than she knows. Happiness. A word that feels foreign to him now. He stares again at the photograph, remembering birthdays with cake, voices around a table, a house that once felt alive. He clears his throat. "I'll call you tomorrow, Mom. Rest well." He hangs up, but the silence that follows is sharper than before. Her question lingers in the air. "Do you have happiness?" It gnaws at him, because the answer is one he cannot give, not honestly, not without admitting how hollow his empire feels. In that moment, Ethan Cole, the man admired by thousands, feels smaller than ever, and miles away, another life, another woman, is about to step into his path, carrying the very truth he has been avoiding. JFK Airport hums with noise. Announcements echo. Suitcases roll across the floor. Angela hurries through the terminal, clutching her boarding pass. She is tired, distracted, and late. She follows the signs, barely noticing the gate number. The attendant scans her ticket without question. She walks down the jet bridge, her heart racing with the thought of Miami. Inside, the cabin is different from what she expected. Spacious leather seats, polished wood panels, only a few people in tailored suits. She freezes, unsure, but too nervous to turn back. Then she sees him, Ethan Cole, seated near the front, phone in hand. He lifts his eyes and studies her, calm, certain, as if he has been expecting her. Angela stammers, "I think this isn't—" But before she can finish, Ethan interrupts. "You must be the new assistant Margaret hired. Sit down, we're about to depart." Her pulse quickens. She wants to protest, but the doors close behind her. The engines roar to life. What began as a simple mistake is no longer something she can undo. Angela Robinson is airborne. And beside her sits a man whose life is about to collide with hers in ways neither can predict. The plane doors seal with a heavy click. Engines rumble. Angela's chest tightens as the cabin tilts forward. She grips the armrest, her voice breaking. "Wait, this is wrong. I made a mistake. I'm not supposed to be here." Heads turn. The few passengers glance at her with confusion. A flight attendant hesitates, then looks toward Ethan Cole. Angela's heart pounds. She scrambles for her ticket, waving it in panic. Her hands shake so badly the paper crumples. The letters blur through her tears. The announcement overhead confirms it. Destination, Miami. But this is not the airline she booked. This is private, exclusive, a world she does not belong to. She stands, desperate to leave, but the seatbelt light glows red. The runway rushes past the window. The jet lifts into the night. Angela whispers to herself, "I don't belong here." The truth presses down like gravity. There is no turning back. She is trapped thousands of feet above the ground, surrounded by strangers in tailored suits, and sitting across from a billionaire who sees her as someone she is not. The mistake is no longer small. It is destiny, locked in motion. Angela's panic rises. Her breathing is quick, uneven. She clutches her bag as if it is the only solid thing left. Ethan watches quietly, then sets his phone aside. His tone softens, unexpected from a man of his power. "Don't worry. We'll sort this out when we land." His words are steady, almost gentle. The authority in his voice is still there, but wrapped in calm instead of command. Angela shakes her head. "You don't understand. I can't afford this. I don't belong on this plane." Ethan leans forward slightly. "Right now, you're here. That's all that matters. Sit, breathe. Let the flight take care of itself." The attendants step back, reassured by his control. Angela lowers herself into the seat again, though her hands still tremble. The jet hums around them, carrying her farther from the life she knows. It is strange. For the first time, she feels the presence of this man not as a headline, not as a figure of wealth, but as someone speaking directly to her. The panic eases. Just a little. Enough for her to inhale and let the air settle in her lungs. The cabin lights dim. A flight attendant approaches with menus, polished and refined. Angela waves her hand quickly. "No, thank you." Her stomach growls, but pride forces her to refuse. Ethan notices. He studies her for a moment, then quietly instructs the attendant. "2 meals, the same for both of us." When the plates arrive, the aroma fills the cabin. Angela hesitates, her cheeks warm with embarrassment. Ethan gestures lightly. "Eat, please." She picks up the fork. The first bite melts on her tongue, richer than anything she has tasted in months. She swallows hard, fighting back unexpected tears. Ethan eats in silence, giving her space. He does not mock her hunger or her hesitation. His small act speaks louder than any grand gesture. For Angela, it is more than food. It is acknowledgement. A reminder that even in a place she does not belong, someone sees her. The billionaire across the table could have ignored her. Instead, he chose kindness. A simple kindness, but one strong enough to loosen the knot in her chest. And for the first time on this flight, she feels not just trapped, but strangely safe. The quiet between them stretches, broken only by the hum of the engines. Angela sets her fork down, searching for words. Then she recalls a night in the hospital. "One patient," she begins. "He kept pressing the call button every 5 minutes, not because he needed help, he just wanted company. Finally, I sat by his bed and told him if he didn't stop, I would bill him for overtime." Her eyes widen, realizing how bold it sounds. For a second, she regrets speaking, but Ethan laughs. Not a polite chuckle, a real laugh. Full, deep, catching him off guard. The sound surprises him as much as her. Angela smiles nervously. "I guess you had to be there." He shakes his head. "No, it's funny. Really funny." It has been years since Ethan laughed without force, without calculation. In that moment, his guarded world cracks open. For Angela, the laugh feels like a small victory. Proof that even the most untouchable man can be reached. For Ethan, it feels like something long forgotten has returned. A single story, a simple laugh, but it breaks the ice of years, and it changes the air between them. The laughter fades, leaving silence heavy with unspoken things. Ethan sets down his glass, eyes drawn back to the photo on his phone. He hesitates. Then he says quietly, "I had a sister, younger than me. She was the kind soul in our family." His voice wavers, rare for him. Angela listens, her hands folded in her lap. "She passed away when she was 21. An accident. Quick, unfair. I built everything after that, thinking success would fill the emptiness. But nothing has. The higher I climbed, the lonelier it felt." The admission costs him. His jaw tightens, as if holding back more than words. Angela's chest aches with empathy. She knows grief. She knows the ache of someone gone too soon. For the world, Ethan Cole is a man of steel. For Angela, right now, he is simply a brother who lost someone he loved. His vulnerability is not weakness, it is truth. And in that truth, Angela sees a reflection of her own scars. The distance between billionaire and nurse shrinks. Pain makes them equals, if only for this moment. Angela exhales slowly. His story stirs something she has buried for years. She stares at her hands, then lifts her gaze. "I was married once," she says softly. I trusted him completely. I thought love meant security. But one day, he left. No warning, no explanation, just gone. Ethan's eyes narrow with quiet understanding. He took our savings, left me with bills, debts, and a heart I didn't know how to carry. I kept going because I had to. My family needed me, my patients needed me, but inside, I was broken. Her words hang in the cabin, vulnerable, exposed. Angela rarely tells this story. Saying it now makes her voice tremble, but also frees her. She looks at Ethan, expecting pity. Instead, she sees respect. Two people, two different worlds. Yet both know abandonment. Both know the emptiness of losing what cannot be replaced. This shared wound binds them. It is no longer billionaire and nurse. It is man and woman, each scarred, each searching for meaning in the aftermath of loss. For the first time, Angela feels less alone in her pain, and Ethan feels less alone in his. The jet touches down, wheels screeching against the runway. Angela's stomach knots as she peers out the window. Miami glitters under the sun, palm trees swaying, buildings rising like jewels. As the door opens, warmth floods in. Attendants step aside. Cars wait on the tarmac, polished and gleaming. Everything screams wealth, luxury, a life she does not belong to. Angela hesitates at the top of the stairs. The men in suits, the flashing phones, the sleek black vehicles, all of it feels like another planet. Her thrift store shoes suddenly feel too plain, her blouse too worn. She follows Ethan reluctantly, clutching her bag tighter, trying to shrink into herself. Every step makes her more aware of the distance between her life and his. Ethan strides ahead, calm, accustomed to this display. He does not notice the stairs cutting into her, or perhaps he does, but refuses to let them matter. Angela's chest tightens. She feels like an intruder, a stranger trespassing in a story not her own. The city is alive with promise, but for her, Miami feels like a stage where she is the wrong character, and she wonders how long she can pretend. At the base of the stairs, a woman in a sharp suit approaches. Margaret, Ethan's longtime assistant. Confident, efficient, her clipboard pressed tight against her chest. She greets Ethan first, then turns to Angela with a smile. "Dr. Robinson, welcome. We're so glad you could make it." Angela blinks. Her mouth opens, then closes again. She glances at Ethan, panic in her eyes. "Dr. Robinson?" That is not her. Ethan remains silent, his expression unreadable. He does not correct Margaret. He lets the mistake breathe. Angela stammers, "I think there's been—" But Ethan's slight shake of the head stops her. It is subtle, yet firm. Margaret continues without hesitation. "The board has high expectations. Your insights on wellness will be invaluable. Cars are waiting." Angela's pulse races. The title hangs over her like a heavy coat she cannot wear. She is no doctor. She is a nurse who barely paid last month's rent. But Ethan has made a decision. In this world of wealth and influence, he chooses to keep her by his side, even if it means holding a lie between them. The limousine glides through Miami's streets, but Angela barely sees the view. Her hands twist in her lap. Her breath comes shallow. She whispers, almost to herself, "This isn't right. I shouldn't be here. I'm not who they think I am." The weight of the deception presses harder with every mile. She feels like a fraud, an imposter in borrowed clothes. Every polished building they pass reflects her fear back at her. Her chest tightens. She imagines being exposed, humiliated, cast out in front of strangers. She imagines the shame of admitting the truth, that she is not Dr. Robinson, not anyone important, just a tired nurse clinging to survival. Ethan sits beside her, calm as stone. His silence fuels her unease. She wants to open the door, to run, to return to the small life she knows. Her thoughts spiral. He's powerful. He can end this with a word. Why hasn't he? The panic grows until tears prick her eyes. Angela cannot reconcile the kindness he showed on the plane with the danger of the lie he now lets stand. She feels trapped, her heart pounding against the cage of her own doubt. At last, Ethan speaks. His voice is low, steady, carrying no judgment. "Angela, look at me." She turns, her eyes red, her lips trembling. "I know you're not the woman they think you are," he says, "but you are exactly the person I need right now." Angela shakes her head. "You don't understand. This is dangerous. I'll ruin everything. I don't belong in your world." Ethan leans closer, his gaze firm but gentle. Then don't think about forever. Don't think about tomorrow. Give me one day, one chance to prove that what matters isn't who the world thinks you are, but who you really are." His words hang between them, simple yet impossible to ignore. One day. Angela's chest rises with a shaky breath. The plea softens the walls she built around herself. The fear is still there, but so is something else. Curiosity. A fragile spark of trust. The car slows in front of a towering hotel. The decision presses against her heart. Stay and risk everything. Or run and never know what might have been. For now, she chooses silence. But her silence means she has not yet left. Later that evening, the noise of the city fades. Ethan leads Angela down a quiet stretch of Miami Beach. The moon spills silver across the waves, sand cool beneath their feet. For a long while they walk without words. The sound of the tide fills the silence. Angela hugs her arms, still carrying the weight of doubt. Ethan notices and slows his pace. He glances at her, then hesitates. Finally, he extends his hand. A small gesture, careful, as though he is asking permission. Angela stares at it. Her heart races. She should pull away. She should remind herself of the lie still hanging between them. But instead, she places her hand in his. The touch is warm, steady. For Angela, it feels like the first safe place she has known in years. For Ethan, it feels like breaking free from a prison built of glass and silence. The waves crash softly, marking the moment. Two people from worlds apart, walking side by side, bound by something neither of them fully understands yet. The night is simple. No crowds, no contracts. Just a man and a woman, holding hands under the endless sky. Angela's voice breaks the quiet. "You asked me why I look so tired," she begins. "The truth is, I am, all the time." Ethan turns to her, listening. "Every paycheck is split before it even arrives. Medicine for my mother, tuition for my sister, rent, bills. There's nothing left for me. I give everything I have, and still, it's never enough." Her words spill out faster, years of silence breaking open. I smile at patience. I tell them they'll be okay, but when I'm alone, I wonder if I'll ever be okay. She stops, ashamed of her own honesty. The tide creeps around her ankles. Ethan's jaw tightens. He sees the strength it takes to carry so much. He feels the unfairness, the quiet sacrifice she has made without applause, without recognition. "Angela," he says softly, "you've been holding the weight of an entire family, of strangers too. No wonder you're tired, but don't mistake exhaustion for weakness. What you've done, it's extraordinary." His words do not erase her burdens, but for the first time, someone names them. Someone sees her, and that simple recognition brings tears she can no longer hold back. Angela wipes her face, embarrassed by the tears. She shakes her head, staring at the waves. "You don't understand," she whispers. "I'm not afraid of the work. I'm afraid of what it's done to me." Ethan waits, giving her the space to continue. "I've given so much of myself away that I don't know what's left. And when I think about happiness, real happiness, I feel like it doesn't belong to me. I'm scared I'll never be worthy of it." The confession hangs in the night air. Angela feels exposed, as if the ocean itself is listening. Her voice trembles. "What if I'm only meant to serve others, never to be loved, never to rest?" Ethan steps closer, his expression softened by something rare, understanding. He does not rush to answer. He does not dismiss her fear. Finally, he says, "Angela, the fact that you asked that question proves you deserve the answer, and the answer is yes, you are worthy, even if you don't believe it yet." The fear remains, but for the first time it has been spoken aloud, and in speaking it, Angela feels a door inside her slowly begin to open. The waves roll in, soft against the shore. Ethan stands close, his voice lowered to a near whisper. "You've told me your fears," he says. "Now, hear mine." Angela looks up, surprised. "I have everything people chase after. Money, power, my name on buildings, my face in magazines, but when the lights go out I realize I have no one waiting, no one who cares whether I come home or not." He pauses, searching her eyes. "I have everything, but I don't have anyone." The words land heavy. Angela recognizes the same loneliness she carries reflected back in him. For all his wealth, Ethan is not untouchable. He is fragile too. They stand together, silence stretched between them, bound by confessions that mirror one another, two lives that appear opposite, yet ache in the same way. For the first time, Angela does not see him as billionaire or client. She sees a man, stripped of armor, and Ethan sees her not as an imposter, but as someone who understands. The tide crashes louder, as if marking the truth neither can deny. Their wounds are different, yet they rhyme. The next morning, Angela enters the hotel lobby. Margaret is waiting, clipboard in hand, eyes sharp. "Dr. Robinson," she begins briskly, "the board meeting is tonight. They're expecting your insights on wellness. Ethan is counting on this deal. If you're not prepared, everything could collapse." Angela's throat dries. "I'm not." She stops herself, the truth clawing at her lips. Margaret leans in, her tone firm. "Do not fail him. He trusts you. We all do. If you stumble, the entire contract could fall apart." The words strike harder than any accusation. Angela nods, though her chest burns with panic. She wants to scream the truth, that she is not a doctor, that she has no research, no credentials, only long nights and broken shoes. But Margaret doesn't wait for questions. She moves on, her heels echoing like a countdown to disaster. Angela stands frozen, the weight of deception pressing tighter. If she speaks, Ethan's empire risks collapse. If she stays silent, she betrays her own soul. Either way, she feels trapped, and the clock ticks closer to a meeting that could unravel everything. That night, Angela lies awake in the hotel room. The city glows outside the window, but she cannot see its beauty. Her pillow is wet with tears she cannot stop. Two voices battle inside her. One whispers, "Tell the truth. Walk away. Be free." The other demands, "Stay. Pretend. Don't ruin his trust." She turns over, clutching the blanket. The imposter feeling grows unbearable. Every compliment, every assumption about her brilliance cuts deeper. They praise a woman she is not. Her chest heaves. She thinks of her mother's medicine, her sister's tuition. If she leaves now, she returns to debt and exhaustion. If she stays, she lives inside a lie. Hours crawl by. Sleep does not come. She stares at the ceiling, imagining faces of people she's helped, patients she's held. They remind her of who she really is, not a doctor, not a fraud, but a nurse who gave her life for others. And yet, that truth feels invisible here. In this glittering world, her real self does not seem enough. By dawn, she is drained, hollow, and no closer to choosing. Morning light slips into the room. Angela finds a note on the table, written in Ethan's strong hand. "Don't try to be who they expect. Be yourself. I trust you." She reads it twice. Then again. Each word strikes through the fog of doubt. Angela presses the note to her chest. It feels like a shield, fragile but real. For so long, no one has told her that being herself was enough. Not family, not colleagues, not even her own heart. She sits on the edge of the bed, the city alive outside, holding a piece of paper that carries more weight than diamonds. Ethan's words do not erase the risk. The board will still expect Dr. Robinson. Margaret will still press. The lie still stands. But the note is different. It is personal. It is not about contracts or appearances. It is about him seeing her. Angela, the woman, the nurse, the survivor, and saying she matters. For the first time, she feels the smallest flicker of strength. Maybe she can face what is coming. Maybe she can speak not as someone else, but as herself. The boardroom is bright, walls lined with glass. Executives in tailored suits sit in a long row. Angela feels her knees weaken as she takes her seat. Margaret whispers sharply, "Remember, Dr. Robinson, they expect brilliance." Angela swallows hard. Her palms sweat. She hears the echo of Ethan's note in her mind. "Be yourself. I trust you." When the questions begin, her voice trembles. "I'm not a researcher," she admits. The room shifts, restless. But she continues, "I am a nurse. I've spent 20 years holding hands, calming fears, and watching what truly heals people." She speaks of long nights, of patients who needed hope as much as medicine. She explains that wellness is not only in charts or data, but in compassion, connection, and dignity. Her words are not polished. They are not academic. They are lived. The board listens in silence, surprised by the raw honesty. Angela expects them to laugh, to dismiss her. Instead, the room holds steady. For the first time in her life, Angela speaks not from a title, but from truth. And in that moment, she rises. Not as a doctor, not as a fraud, but as herself. The chairman leans forward, fingers steepled beneath his chin. His eyes narrow, not in judgment, but in interest. "You're saying wellness is not just science, but humanity?" he asks. Angela nods, her voice steady now. "Yes, medicine can repair the body, but kindness, patience, and presence, those repair the spirit. And without the spirit, the body cannot truly heal." A murmur spreads across the table. Executives exchange glances, not dismissive, curious. Some even nod. Margaret's pen stills. She expected failure. Instead, she sees the board leaning closer, captivated. The chairman finally smiles. "Perhaps we have been chasing the wrong definition of wellness. Your perspective is refreshing, real. I believe our clients would value that deeply." Angela blinks, stunned. She expected rejection. Instead, she hears interest. The tide has turned. The very truth she feared would expose her has become her strength. The underdog has not only survived, she has impressed the most powerful voices in the room. As the meeting ends, quiet applause echoes. Angela leaves the boardroom not with shame, but with a trembling pride. She had spoken her truth, and it was enough. Outside the meeting, Ethan waits. When Angela steps through the doors, his eyes search her face. She lowers her head. "I told them the truth," she says softly. He studies her, then shakes his head in disbelief. "You didn't just tell them. You reminded them, and me, what it means to live." His voice thickens. "I have been chasing contracts, deals, power, but I forgot the heart. You stood there with nothing but honesty, and they listened. You made them remember. You made me remember." Angela looks at him, tears threatening again. "I thought I would ruin everything." Ethan steps closer. "You saved everything, and you saved me from myself." For years, Ethan has lived in pursuit of gain. Tonight, he feels the stir of redemption, a chance to rebuild not just his empire, but his own soul. And it came not from a billionaire's strategy, but from the heart of a woman who thought she had nothing left to give. The walls around him crack. In their place grows something new, hope. The night settles soft around Miami. Angela stands on the balcony, looking at the ocean. The breeze cools her face, but her heart races. Ethan joins her, silent for a moment. Then he asks, his voice almost breaking, "If I needed you, would you stay?" Angela turns, stunned. Tears well in her eyes. She shakes her head, trying to find words. "I'm no one important. I'm not the woman you think—" He interrupts gently. "You are exactly the woman I think. Honest, brave, stronger than you realize. That's who I need. Not a title, not a role. You." Her throat tightens. For years, she has given without being seen. Now, this man, this billionaire, sees her clearer than anyone ever has. Angela's tears fall. She hesitates, torn between fear and desire. Then, slowly, she nods. The answer is not perfect. It is not a promise forever, but it is enough. It is the first step toward choosing herself. In that nod, she accepts not just him, but the possibility of happiness she once thought impossible. A billionaire may own everything, yet the change in his life came from the heart of a nurse who carried nothing but honesty and compassion. And a woman who spent her years saving others finally found the courage to save herself. Angela's journey is not about wealth or recognition. It is about something deeper. Love that arrives when least expected. Strength that grows out of sacrifice. The quiet truth that a life's worth is not measured by money or titles, but by the simple choice to be seen as you truly are. Sometimes what feels like a mistake is not a wrong turn at all, but the beginning of something we were meant to discover. If this story touched you, share what it made you feel. Let your thoughts live here, and if you want more stories that speak to the heart, subscribe and stay with us. Because in the end, the most powerful stories are not about fortune or fame. They are about finding the strength to live fully, and the courage to love, even when the world says it is impossible.